Welcome everybody. Finally, I'm sorry for having stalled you for so long, but this is now finally game one of the 843 MPT tournament. And as people in chat have already rightly noted, this is gonna be a crazy game in terms of name value here. Got some heavy hitters in this lobby, so this can only be good. This can really only be amazing. As far as I'm concerned. We're already in the reload lobby, so this game is gonna launch within the next 20 seconds, I'm pretty sure. Unless complications arise as always. But yeah, you never know with that. Anyways, I hope you guys are just as excited as I am, and I hope you're already making fun of me in chat for getting the picks so wrong in terms of civilizations. I guess I'll put them on the screen real quick before we head into the game so you guys can get a quick glimpse at them once more. But this is gonna be amazing. This is gotta be amazing, to be honest. Oof. One more check mark required for us to launch into the game. And I just hope it's all gonna be smooth from a tech standpoint. But there we go. We're about to finally launch into the real game. My goodness, what do you guys think about the civs here? Has anybody made a huge blunder in draft? Anyways, there you guys go. Welcome everybody to the start for the 843 MPT tournament. Gonna be an amazing journey, and yeah, let's get a quick glimpse at the map, everybody, shall we? Alright, reminding everybody to mute once again, because, yep, that's can be an issue on reloads, of course. But there we go, it looks, everybody should have completed their turns already, so this is about to launch real quick. Let's check out where everybody spawned, shall we? Everybody, well, except Zardoz apparently, planting turn 0. So let's see, as Cheese is memeing here in the chat. So the teams are 2-3, 4-6, and 5-7, as you can see in my name, as well as the top of your screens, hopefully, where the names are supposed to be spelled out. And this is gonna be... It's gonna be amazing, isn't it? There we go. So we've got Persia and Incans as the game now finally commences. Where did they spawn? Persians down here and Incans down here, right? So they're both at the bottom side of the map. That's going to be interesting. I think they're quite happy with their spawns as well. Decent land for agricultural, if you like. And then Persia, of course, with the guaranteed iron cap. Kind of a no-brainer pick there, in my opinion, as well. And then we've got Aztecs and Samaria, also quite close to each other. I think they're gonna like their spawns as well, although Aztecs kind of with awkward land. They're maybe not the greatest civ to spawn with that land. Of course, we're playing MPT, so no agricultural trade for the Aztecs. And Samaria, well, is not really that land dependent, but should be fine. And then for Team Anti, who is the only team to come with their captain and their first pick of the draft, so should be favored in this game from the player level point of view. They got Zulu and Rome also quite close to each other. So this, I have to stress this is quite fortunate for everybody. I did not set up which team members spawned where. This was completely by chance that everybody sort of spawned together. And I guess we'll take a deeper look into who this might favor and for what reasons in a second. But let's just take these first couple of turns in here. As we see now, everybody, of course, having planted. Despite me having elite spies, by the way, I only managed to get 2 out of 5 spies that I tried in the first turn onto the onto the actual player, so that's quite fascinating. Battleship with the accurate observation of the tax planting turn 2, and I think oh yeah, I gotta do this real quick here, just so we have the chance. Give me just a second as I enable another emote here, because yeah, there is a very interesting phenomenon. Hold on as I reply to. Alright, so we've got some area here, and this is a map where iron is going to be very important, so I should enable my no iron emote real quick in chat for people to, well, use in case somebody's getting their iron denied. So let me remove an emote real quick and put the no iron emote in again real quick. Very important business, of course. Up, up, up. I'm sorry. Just takes me a second here. Oh, come on. Yes. This should be saved. The changes. Yes, looking good. Alright, I'm sorry for stalling you guys for a second there. I hope we didn't miss anything major. Anti-Kismic getting con over here. That's pretty standard. Nobody can, of course, pop settlers on this map, since we're playing with the anti-pop settlers here in the top corner. So that's not a risk here. Although still, I think the expansionist civ's quite powerful on this map. There's also no horse civs here, so no chariot builders. Therefore, the rough terrain here in the middle with the jungle and the marsh and the mountains as well is probably not going to be that impactful, I don't think. Yep, let's see if we can get those right emotes going in case the need arises. Anyways, so now that we've got all the administrative stuff set up, let's dive into how this game might potentially play out. Let's start with the perceived favorites, at least in my opinion, for this game. Antiquity and Kismic, two very experienced tournament players themselves. I've got pretty decent starts, although Zulu in the corner is a bit unfortunate. Really only one enemy nearby, and that's Sumeria, who themselves is no stranger to choking and annoying enemies. So that's a little bit of an awkward spot maybe for Zulu there. Not really much access to anybody, but a lot of land to build into. Also quite possible to hook those horses, since the enemy that could deny them to you isn't actually an enemy, but your teammate. It feels like they could go for a chariot strategy as well. Especially since they're so isolated, I think a horseman play might be just what the doctor ordered for Antiquity. Rome in the middle, of course, not going to go for any horses. They are quite vulnerable from all the sides, 5 enemies around them, to be honest. However, the terrain is quite protective for them, and they've got decent land here. They're going to get at least 3 decent cities out, I feel like, with the BGs and the forests that they got. So not too worried about them, but they're not going to be able to build big in this game, which they might also not really need to do. However, it is going to hurt them a bit in the scoring department. A good thing that Kismic probably wasn't a player that was gonna, well, big build in terms of score, build big in terms of score anyways, I don't think. So, alright, what are we expecting from that team? Maybe a horseman play from Anti could really be decent in this one. So I'm not sure what exactly Cheese screwed up on over there. And yeah, and Kismic is gonna have to try to maybe find a kill eventually with Rome, but it's gonna be real difficult to not die then after finding that kill. So maybe Team Anti just looking to build for a while and try to not die, because they really don't have well, great spots to kill people with early on, and especially if they want to survive afterwards too. As we get the first contact between some enemies up here north, with the early archer from ByzFire stumbling over that Zulu Impy. I will see if any combat ensues, but I don't expect that to be the case. Decent early wall-off attempt already for ByzFire, but Antiquity will surely try to loop around towards the end of this or next turn, depending on, well, whichever suits them. So maybe let's then move over. As Cheese is already getting those Chaskeys out, maybe let's talk about his team next. Cheese and Battleship, of course, both in the south of the map, especially Battleship, very safe. I expect him to go for a lot of cities, maybe 5 or 6 cities, which is a lot in this type of shortened MPT scenario. So I expect that to be the case. Battleship going for a lot of cities and then try to build a lot of immortals. They're Persians as well, so they're going to be able to road quite quickly too, meaning that it's quite the realistic possibility for them to just road up to an enemy and kill them after 30 or 40 turns if nothing major happens. However, the only real enemy that they can easily access is Rome. They're really tough to kill with a few legionaries. It's going to be difficult for even the mortals to get a kill there, so that's potentially going to be problematic for them. The other opportunity is, of course, to always try and find a boat kill, which is quite possible on this map too, with the volcanic connection here around the x-axis. There's lots of boating opportunities, but that's going to be mainly Aztecs and Sumerians, and especially Sumerians are people that you're not typically easily killing, even with a Immortals landing. So yeah, Persia probably also looking to build for a while and then try to get a critical mass of Immortals, potentially against Rome, who are already getting their settler out. That's quite fascinating to me. The only guy to have a settler out yet is the guy in the very middle of the map. Kismic really pulling no punches there. So that's interesting. Wonder how that'll go. For Cheese on the other side, he's already got a few Chaskis out. Maybe he can try to find a way to make something happen on the Aztecs over there. He's getting close, and he's also going to make contact with Zulu soon. So, although they might just have missed each other here, to be fair, Cheese with a very nice end of turn moves, and he might be actually able to surprise Zardoz their next turn, as there was a war declaration. I think that might have been onto the Incan scout, and Cheese might have been able to pull it out of harm's way just in time for him to be able to hold onto that very valuable scouting unit. Now for Zardoz, I think I saw earlier he had his capital emptier than I had expected here for most players, so he might have gone for the straight barracks, and he's got some Jaguar warriors now hanging around the area. If he doesn't move out of Tenochtitlan, he should be fine against this Chasqui. But Cheese is preparing for that double move, so let's focus in on that action there. Zardoz moves out with the Jaguar warrior there. Maybe that could get dangerous in Tenochtitlan, but Cheese is surely not going to hit into that city. Yeah, moves across the river and tries to get a better position for himself. Now Zardoz is tasked with a tough question. I don't think he's got a whole lot of units there in Tenochtitlan, so does he move out with the Jaguar warrior regardless, and how does he secure his worker? Those are questions that I'm currently wondering, and this could be a quite pivotal fight here, because both of these guys might be G8 soon if they choose to engage here. But no, Zardoz does move out. I expect him to have another few warriors up and ready in Tenochtitlan very soon, so he should be fine, but maybe just delaying his second city for a bit. And that's already quite valuable for Cheese, who is in a decent spot to make plays happen onto Rome and the Aztecs as well. He moves in though, and Zardoz with a very quick response hits right into the Chasqui and gets a great result on the roll. However, he loses his worker in return, so no golden age for Cheese, but he gets to deny that worker. I feel like that's best case for him. He didn't want that golden age anyways. He got the retreat off. It was not a kill onto any of Zardoz's units, I'm pretty sure. So best case for the Cheese, really, I think. He didn't get a pillage off, but other than that, pretty much perfect scenario for him there. Cheese has really all the options in the world. He could also realistically go for a horseman play if he needed to. Horse is not that far away from him if he really needed them, but he might just go for a straight agricultural build, city sprawl into well, not even that many cities, 5 cities maybe, lots of swordsmen. Definitely a possibility for him there. We'll see how that plays out, as the impies are also starting to make their way closer to enemies that aren't named Sumeria, which are, of course, well, always a tough one to make something happen on early on or later, really. As was that a golden age taken from the Aztecs? I don't think so. It looks like Kismic got that roll off pretty clean, but we can't be sure. And let me now try to get some more spies out onto enemies. As you can see, I've got the elite level spies, but so far haven't been that fortunate with them. And as you can see already, they're not getting off to a good start. What's going on here, guys? I can't seem to land those spies at all. At least some coming in now, but that's unfortunate because getting some info on the army sizes and everything is always quite useful. But yeah, no intel on people such as Persia yet. Lots of warriors for Cheese, you can see, so no heavy opting into Chasky scouts from him early. Might need those warriors actually, because Zardoz is starting to get close with his Jaguar warrior. However, Cheese had spotted that on his initial attack there at Tenochtitlan, so he should be prepared for something to come on down south soon there onto him. Battleship already going for a coastal city. I really like that play. Lots of bonus grasslands to be accessed from there. It looks like this time would have been the better city in terms of corruption in MPT, at least if those maps here work the same way as regular MPT maps, which I'm not 100% certain, but I suspect highly. He wants a defensive bonus from the hill, potentially, but I don't really think you need that here. You've already established that you're in a quite safe position, so I'd have preferred the better city for the corruption. Also gets another bonus grassland there immediately. There's no kill pressure, or is there? We have Zardoz moving in here. He gets the hit onto Cusco. He even gets the city take. That's the biggest upset of the tournament so far, ironically, but possibly for the entire event, honestly. I'm struggling to find the right words for this one, but what the hell just happened there? Oh Lord, Cheese really didn't see that coming. Oh, he's gonna have to listen to lots of criticism from, well, his team, which he's the captain of, but from the crowd as well, I feel like. I'll have to check if he claims any foul play or bugs going on, but I would. Wow, yeah, Cheese gave an explanation for why that happened. We'll have to discuss that later, but it was no foul play. That is major. We just had a player that in the pre-tournament content, check that out on my YouTube channel if you haven't already. One of the players that I had evaluated to have a very low kill threat in Zardoz, who is known as a quite defensive player and hasn't found success offensively in previous tournaments either, getting the first kill on one of the best players in the event on the enemy captain, and poor Battleship now left all on his own, nobody to feed him gold there, and he's just in that corner and now has to hold well onto that spot for Team Cheese. Doesn't want to get eliminated right off the bat either. At this point, you might start thinking about possibilities, right? Because you're not going to win the scoring game anyways anymore at this point, right? So maybe you're just trying to get as many kills as possible. Maybe try to set up a few boats, kill one or two people before you're taken out yourself. I don't think playing for straight survival for the entire game is a great choice here. On the other side, you might argue that now you're one player down, so the two other teams might focus in on each other. You might wait until one of the teams takes the other team out before you yourself get involved on the offensive end. So that's the consideration that you might take into account there if you're Battleship, but if I'm him, I'm definitely trying to set up a double kill and just send it after that, because that's going to be really difficult to, well, get a lot of meaningful scoring going in that Persian corner. Despite his admittedly quite nice position, lots of BG, so it's not awful in any way, shape or form. That's major news though. The first kill of the tournament, Zardoz onto Cheese. Incredible, incredible stuff going on right here. Cusco taken out, and there we see the Jaguar Armada swarming all across the continent. Golden age for Aztecs now as well. I think they're going to try to get another city out pretty soon as well, but he's also got to worry about not dying all that soon, at least near Cusco, and that changes a whole lot. Now, if you're planning without the income pressure from Cheese, the game really shifts, especially for Rome and for the Aztecs themselves, of course. So we'll see how these guys deal with that going forward. Sadly, one of the players that I had a spy on just died, so the fortunate RNG wasn't that great there. Literature actually done for the Byzantines. That's interesting. They took the shortcut via philosophy. Nicely done there. So, well, yeah, they might be able to get some culture buildings out pretty soon themselves as well, if they're looking to score big here. Pretty decent land, enough for 3 or 4 decent cities at the very least. So we'll see how that goes. Wow. All right. So that's 1 point in the scoring column already for Team Zardoz and ByzFire, which are Team Halu. And what a statement to open your tournament with here for Zardoz. If you guys don't recall, Byzantine Fire was of course the first pick for Team Halu, but Zardoz, he came in a little bit later. He was the 4th overall pick on that team, so that is pretty late. He's definitely rising, making his stock rise there for future events maybe. I'd love to see it for him. Kismic, lots of cities out already. You can see Rome size 1 only. He's definitely not worried about any early pressure, especially now after Cheese is dead. Pretty good call from him. Sumeria and Persia are not able to make a whole lot of stuff happen early on. We see there's an upgrade already for Battleship. He's only got that 1 immortal, I suspect. I don't have the spy out on him yet. I'll wait another 1 or 2 turns before I try that again, but he's maybe just trying to get that GA as early as possible and really rush out for that kill, potentially. So that's what I'm thinking, just looking at this right here. We'll have to see what options he has, but it looks like he's just trying to get that GA off the MP from Antiquity. We'll see how attentive he is, and it also looks like Zardoz has reinforced Cusco with quite a few Jaguar warriors himself, so not really swarming out all across the map as I might have expected, but instead reinforcing that position he established for himself at the Incan capital. Aztec and Incan combat there, of course. The Meso-South American, historically not all that inaccurate battle, if you're taking account timelines. Of course, the direct contact between these people was rather limited, but at least they were alive at the same time, so you've got that going. Pretty decent, well, pretty similar strategy actually for Anti as well as Kismic there. You can see both of them not too worried about early pressure at all. Good scouting, of course, helping a lot with that. Zulu, a good pick if you just want to get a good sense of the map early on as well. And wow, without even knowing that Battleship had sent that immortal out, Anti decides to look around and see if he can get any more scouting intel with that MP. So the Persians not able to find that GA for another couple of turns, I suspect. Another immortal done or upgraded in Persepolis here, but still no enemies around, so he's not going to be able to get that GA all that soon. Rome Hook Dian Byzantine says, as we also see the Legionary upgrade coming from Kismic. Do we have a spy on him? Is there one? Yeah, there is. So 2 Legionaries there. He's going to try and get that GA off the Archer. Should be quite possible there. He upgraded this turn, I believe, so start of next turn I expect him to hit. And Biz, he had observed the iron being hooked. I wonder if he's going to move out of the way, and that's exactly what he's going to do actually. He hits into the city. Nicely done. He gets the combat victory even. He hits again. Antium is getting really low. My goodness, that was almost the next kill of the game here, but Kismic really lucky on that combat roll actually. Antium not even on a hill, so that nearly cost him the game there. Expecting Biz to, well, I don't know, maybe he hadn't even noticed the Archer attacking at the end of the previous turn, but it took him ages to reinforce with that Legionary. And Team Halu here really with the interesting early cheese kills, and that is quite funny, excuse the pun though, because that's exactly how they got their kills in the last tournament as well. If you guys don't remember that, that is exactly what happened there too. Team Halu always tended to go for early 1v1 flips, and that trend has stayed true, and they've been rewarded yet again, and looks like they're just going to attack into it here. Antiquity going to hit into that Roman Legionary, I believe, to give his teammate the GA. No, actually, Kismic not taking it quite yet, and he's even hooking those horses. I really like that play. So he's going to take that GA from his teammate once he's hooked those horses, and then he's going to spam out horsemen, which is going to be brutal on this map. I really like that play because it's so unexpected and unorthodox if you're the enemy teams. Don't think they're going to see that one coming, well, unless until he hooks that horse, of course, with the colony. But that is really smart play from Kismic. You don't need a ton of legionaries, you just need a few to stay alive. If you can then spam out horsemen, very possible to take out civs such as Persia or the Aztecs who don't have particularly big defensive strengths. So that is interesting play there as well. For the Zulu, the strategy is not quite clear yet. I think he's just banking some gold for his teammate to upgrade with, but also potentially looking for those horses later is what I would recommend at least. He's also just told us in chat that he's looking out for that Persian GA, trying to make sure not to give that one over for free. As Battleship plans his third city, you can see a bunch of bonus grasslands still. Sumeria, Zulu at war, so it's Byzantine fire trying to clear out this MP from his land. Succeeds finally, and that's his GA as well. A 2-city golden age for the Sumerians as he's just about to hook that iron. I wonder how he's gonna play that. If he's just trying to spam out swordsman, which it really looks like he is. Maybe I missed him taking a golden age earlier, but I don't think. No, exactly. He just confirms it in chat for us. That's Sumeria with the GA coming in too. So yeah, he really only can produce swordsman with that. He doesn't have the horses hooked, of course, so we'll see how much he can get done with that. 2 cities is just way less than I would have expected. And same thing for the Aztecs. After getting their GA, they haven't even made another city. Potentially just too worried about getting taken out soon with that. But the thing about playing defensively is you're supposed to amass score, but if you're just playing defensively without planting cities, then you're not getting kills and you're not getting score, so I don't agree with that choice overall. Alright, Zulu getting that GA as well. I didn't note that, but of course, yeah, he took down a unit before his MP got cleared there. So 3-city GA for Antiquity, and ironically, out of that trade with Biz, he might have gotten the better end of the GA trade there with the 3 cities. Pretty good land, lots of unhooked BGs already, or unmined bonus grasslands that are going to give him a ton of production value there compared to the worker moves that he's invested. Let's see if that Barb potentially ends up taking out Kismic's worker underneath that warrior. That would be absolutely hilarious as far as I'm concerned. Nope, wasn't meant to be. Of course, I'm not praying on anybody's downfall here, but the memes are undeniably hilarious if that ends up occurring. Walls done in Cusco, standard play for Zardoz. I expect that temple to be rushed pretty soon too, just to get more score out of it and to get more vision in order to be able to react when the enemy finally ends up moving in on you there. If that ever ended up being the case. Temple out in Ulundi already as well for Antiquity, so he's making it pretty clear scoring is one of the major priorities here, as he's just sending out archers for now. Sumeria, lots of Enkidu warriors, but not really utilizing them on offense just yet. And 4th city coming in for Battleship now. That's exactly what I said earlier, right? Expect him in to spam cities, and that hasn't changed apparently after his teammate got taken out. And there is interestingly just the road done on the horse. So actually I was wrong about the play from Kismic. I really thought they were going to colony those horses and go for a horseman play, which I would have really liked on this quite spacious map. But no, he's just roading straight up to the Aztecs. I must have misinterpreted that move originally, as he takes out another Bob Camp too. That's lots of additional gold for Rome to use. Every Bob Camp roundabout is 1 legionary upgrade. Quite powerful, of course. And finally, Zardoz is looking to plant that next city here. First real city plant, of course. Pretty late, if you ask me. Not a lot of score there. Well, he missed out on a lot of score, rather. But maybe he's got a lot of... well, he must have gotten a lot of Jaguar warriors produced in that time. Well, we'll see if it ends up paying off for him in the end. Whew. Alright, Rome really moving out now. They're looking to get onto the Aztecs here. It's pretty clear now, and Zardoz has spotted this. He knows that he's being roaded, and he knows that legionaries are on the way. Lots of legionaries really for Rome. Is that 6 legion? It's... oh boy. Never mind that. Alright, they really invested a ton of money into that upgrade. Zardoz gets his next city, but it's going to be a horribly tough defense here if he's supposed to hold against that legionary stack if it ever moves out onto him. We'll see how Kismic plays it. Finally, some spies landing as well. I'm really particularly interested in the Aztecs here. Fortunately, they're letting me into. No archers for him at all yet. No spearmen either. So, Zardoz, I feel like he's just gonna get overwhelmed with that attack if it comes in anytime soon, really. And that probably is a really good idea for Kismic as well, because if he takes out the Aztecs, there's a very low chance that Persia can get involved and take one of those cities over there. And just the Sumerians are not going to be able to do that much about it either, because they're going to then get pressured from the Zulus in the west, which have a comically low military count so far. But of course, ByzFire doesn't know that, so I doubt he's going to be all that confident in moving out and retaking one of the Aztec cities, should Kismic end up killing Zardoz over there. There we finally see the GA now being given over to Rome. They're going to be loving this. Lots more gold coming in there, lots more production too, to get more of these legionaries out. Still no colony on that on that horse rather. I would have liked that play anyways. That's not happening apparently. And Byzantine now also able to observe those impies. I feel like if you add up all the information on your screen here as Team Halu, it looks like Zardoz is in a lot of trouble. And then the question becomes, how do you respond to this? You see the legionaries moving out on over to Tenochtitlan, and you see the Zulu impies coming over as well. So do you try to prevent that kill by sending Sumerian reinforcements over to the east, or do you try to prevent it by pressuring on the home bases of Rome or Zulu? Third option, of course, is to always just threaten a retake, which is quite a potent deterrent too, usually. But in this case, you might not have the resources to really defend there on both fronts yourself. So, tricky spot to be in for Zardoz and Byzantine Fire. But them, of course, opening up with the first kill of the tourney means they already have 1 point on the scoreboard. And they just got to make sure they're not getting eliminated first, because now the thing that I mentioned earlier seems to take effect. Battleship is just sitting on the sidelines as the other two complete teams start battling it out here. And if one of these teams dies, has both of the players dying before Battleship dies, that of course then gives Team Cheese the second place in this game in terms of the scoring ranking at least. Because remember, when your team dies, you're automatically lost. So as long as Battleship's alive and can stay alive for longer than one of these other teams, that might be even an avenue back into the scoring conversation for them. So maybe not a bad idea to play this a little bit more patiently than I'd originally suggested after Cheese died. Lots of units there in Ur, but also, of course, still the threat on the Aztecs. So what Anti is doing here is he's binding a lot of Sumerian units at home, and he's also threatening the iron here to some extent, which makes it just so ByzFire has to make a choice here for how strong for how much he's gonna be able to move over to Zardoz, really. Kismic really going all in onto that attack. It seems like he's not worried at all about what's going on at home. No capitals on fire so far in this game, and it looks like that's not going to change. I haven't seen anybody disordered in any case, as now some immortals start coming out onto the map too. I think that's purely for the purpose of getting a golden age there by Battleship, and also maybe for the scouting, because he only has one player's vision at this point, of course, so maybe needs some more info on what the map looks like if he ever wants to go for kills, especially in regards to the coastlines, which is probably gonna be his best avenue to find kills on. Boating, that is. Looks like ByzFire not under threat of losing any tiles at home, but of course still lots of units just occupying his tiles there, as Kismic's transitioning into more and more pressure there towards the Aztecs. I feel like he's stacking units in Vey at this point. I don't think he's moved out nearly all of them yet. More than half still seeming to be at home, if I read this right. And there he goes. Oh boy, that is one scary stack to face up against if you're the Aztecs. Kismic already taken tiles in your land. You only have that one road connecting your two cities. There's no chance Zardoz survives this one if Team Antiquity go all in for it, which they seem to be preparing to do. Let's check this real quick. Alright, no cities on hills there for Zardoz. He's still working on hooking that iron. Maybe a swordsman upgrade could save him, but I just don't see that happening against this big of a legionary mass, even with some archers in there, just to make it extra difficult to clear them out. I don't see it happening, frankly, for Zardoz. But how do they respond? And he's still making sure to stay on Byzantine's nerves. And him still with that 2-city GA from the Sumerians. I don't see him having the production capacity to really put up a fight here, especially after his teammate is likely to die. Zardoz gonna have to take out a lot of legions here if Biz is supposed to retake that one eventually. And Rome tightening his grasp around Tenochtitlan. The road is extending further and further as he's starting to take even the roads here from the Aztecs. Jaguar at least managing to survive. Every single unit could potentially be crucial in solidifying his position at home. I wonder how much he's still got left at Cusco. He's even hooking the iron at Cusco, it seems, to get some upgrades there. That is a really smart play that I hadn't thought of. But you can of course build or upgrade swordsmen in the captured city as well, since there is guaranteed to be iron in every enemy's capital too. So funny kind of interaction right there. But this is just the calm before the storm. The early skirmishes here around Zardoz's capital don't really matter all that much. I wonder how Kismic's gonna go about moving in here, and that's what I was gonna suggest. He's staying outside of the Aztecs' vision for as long as possible. We see the Sumerian swordsman upgrade having come through now, but there's not a lot of them, of course, and yeah, he's not going to be able to, well, at least not for now, to deter that Roman stack. And he also looking to plant another city here soon. Good choice. Keep expanding, keep building on that score lead that you're trying to establish here, and also keep that pressure up on the enemies too. Persia and Aztecs at war. Oh, that was down here. Obviously, he tried to go for the Golden Age there, I suppose, but doesn't look like a retreat either. I'm a little bit confused as to what. Oh no, he might have forced him to retreat there. That could have been what happened. So no Golden Age still for the Persians in that case. Really unfortunate for Battleship. He's just trying to get involved in some way, but he's so isolated. And he's got little info on the map, I suppose. Upgrade coming in for Zardoz. He's finally got that road completed with 3 workers working around the clock to hook that resource. But is it gonna be enough? It really feels like it might be too little too late. No cities with defensive bonuses. Do we see the walls out of Tenochtitlan soon? I would quite like that play as well. ByzFire looking to get his 3rd city out soon, but it just feels a little bit too slow on that side. Impy is keeping on moving through. I would have liked him to hold on to that tile here, because that could be crucial in connecting those roads eventually, but probably not gonna matter in time, as here come the legions. Is he gonna take that tile here right away, or is he gonna wait for later in that turn? It doesn't look like Kismic is too concerned with Zardoz blocking that tile, and he probably shouldn't be either, because let's face it, whatever he's gonna put up in order to hold on to that, it's not gonna last very long, I don't think. At least able to clear out one of the legions here, but losing a lot of swordsmen and HP in order to accomplish that, so we'll see if that's gonna be worthwhile in the end. And it appears as though Zardoz was able to escape with his Jaguar warrior down here as well, so still no Golden Ages for the Persians, who are starting to road out in multiple directions here. It looks like he's really just trying to pump score and plant cities here, which I can't necessarily... Well, planting cities to pump score is it's tough to tell, right? Because you can be almost certain that 1 or 2 enemies are going to be dying, so maybe you can get back into the scoring conversation in the end, but I think pumping score is not effective. You need to stay alive, but you also need to make sure you're able to maybe get another kill or two in at the end of the game. That would be ideal. I don't like him just mindlessly planting cities. We'll see how far he goes with that. Size 7 in Cusco now too. Got that swordsman after he hooked that iron. I like that. But in comes Kismic. And now we get in Series I. Should have investigated Tenochtitlan maybe to see what Zardoz is defending with. But I'm expecting to see a hit here rather soon. He could go for the road as well, but it looks like he's not immediately hitting. The thing is, you can debate here. Oh no, that's a lot of work is gone as well for the Aztecs, but well, that's not too important. He could have joined those into the cities though to get more production going, or to maybe get a defensive bonus into Tenochtitlan too with the size 7. Of course, then wouldn't have needed those walls. He moves a lot of units into that city, but that just enables Anti to take his road. I don't think that's what he was intending to do there. And if that road is cut, which it very much looks like, Teotihuacan looks like the obvious target there for an attack at the hands of Kismic. Zardoz, he's really feeling the pressure now. I don't think it was possible for him to live this attack. He's done his best here, but I don't think he's going to be able to hold on for that much longer. Still unsure how Kismic's going to play. It looks like he wants to take this one step at a time and go for the road first. He's woken up his stack now, and it looks like he's going to move it north in just a second. There he goes. Single archer for some area chilling in the way, but it looks really as though he just was looking to get onto that road. Oh my lord. Is that real life? Spearman gets done in Teotihuacan, alright. Not a gross miscalculation there by Zardoz. He was maybe just baiting there, but he stays alive for now. Spearman behind walls is no slouch, of course, not that easy to take out. And ByzFire saying he's not going to be able to retake. Yeah, that is one thing Anti has for sure accomplished. How are they going to play? They've now fully pillaged those roads, so no more need for Rome to swoop around. But Antiquity is exactly, he's passing on the information to Kismic there. He's able to tell exactly what the Aztecs are defending with, and potentially a good decision anyways, even if that spearman wasn't made in Teotihuacan. Probably a good choice not to take that city anyways for Anti, because you just wait until the Roman stack arrives, and it looks like a surefire kill at this point. Just gotta make sure not to get caught out at home before it happens. So who knows what they're gonna choose, but it feels like that is what they should be doing there. Forward plant actually with that city. Didn't expect Anti to get that aggressive onto ByzFire, but Kismic keeps on inching forward here, it seems. He's gonna go onto that iron, assume. Persia and Zulu at war. Oops, I must have missed wherever that took place. Maybe he was able to take out a unit there for his golden age finally. He's got an elite immortal, but that could have come out of a barbarian fight earlier too, so I'm not 100% sure. Definitely got that war declaration though, so not 100% sure whether or not the GA is now finally in. Alright, we don't need to do any more spying now, because we know that Teotihuacan doesn't have a lot of units in there. 3 units max by the time the attack comes through next turn. Zardoz trying his best to get stuff done here, but he's just able to beat people back. He's not even getting any kills there. Yeah, great job by Zardoz there as he's about to be taken out. He's gotten that first kill of the tourney, and one of the most exciting ones already for sure, as he's trying to do something, anything really, to slow down the Romans and take out as many units as possible on his way down. That is a smart choice. Gets that kill into the MP. Alright, he's still trading. Even more legions come in. I'm not sure that is even necessary, but maybe he's also thinking about already pressuring next up in Sumeria. But let's take it one step at a time here. We'll see what Zardoz is able to do. I don't expect it to be a whole lot, but maybe he can take out another few units, as nowhere else can I see combat going on. It looks like Teotihuacan is under attack, and there we go. Kill number 2 of the game by Kismic. looks like we are gonna crash here on that city take. I was trying to save, but wasn't meant to be apparently. So we might have to reload that here for just a second. Always regrettable, but of course does happen, well, every once in a while on those kills. You guys know how the game goes. Anyways, 1 kill for Team Halu, 1 kill for Team Antiquity 2. And we'll have to reload this one, sadly. As I set up that reload. Which turn was it again? 1990. Yep. Yep, they are asking for reload, and there we go. Just wanted to make sure nobody leaving prematurely here. Oops. Alright, guys in chat with the hilarious emotes, I gotta say. We'll of course be right back immediately when the reload is ready. Taking me a while to set that lobby up, but we'll get there. I'm just checking because it looks like commands aren't working properly in the stream chat, so that's confusing. Yeah. Nothing to really do about that, it seems. Anyway, so we gotta wait for everybody to get into the reload, and then we'll see how we do this. It looks like we can just accomplish the same result with an AI though, so that looks like the most effective course of action for us to handle that drop. There we go, everybody got in. Let's just hope this goes with any technical difficulties there. All right, back in just a second. All right. Looks like we're gonna be able to get it going. There we go. Launch and back in. Got an AI replacing Zardoz. Let's see how it goes. Here we are. So let's see if we can get that kill to go through again smoothly this time around. Oh, that is unfortunate. Alright. Looks reasonable to me. Good. All fair enough with that kill. No real complaints there. That's kill on the board for Team Halu. 1 and 1, of course, now for Team Anti as well. They've got a lot of army left. So I wouldn't hate the play to just go for ByzFire next. They've already got the army nearby as well. Yeah, of course. Of course, that's all fine with the kill there. That's definitely reasonable solution there. They know what they do with the reloads. Interestingly, though, Kismic moving back with the legions. I wonder what the rationale is in that regard. I feel like moving straight up to Sumeria might be a decent play because they are on 3 cities now, and you might be able to get onto some roads there. However, the Persia kill is likely the easier one, especially since you know he's got a lot of cities. So maybe good idea to play it slow and try to find the kill onto Persia before going to Sumeria, especially because that is a good point actually. Sumeria only just recently planted that coastal city, so he really can't boat you yet. And Persia, for all you know, could have a bunch of boats out already because he had that first city he made being a coastal one. So therefore, potentially, if you went for a kill into Sumeria, you would have a lot of boatable land. You have Zulu, you've got the captured city at Sumeria, and the one at Aztecs land that you would have to defend against Persian boats. So maybe it's the objectively better call to go for Persia first, actually. At least you could reasonably argue for that. The only problem is, of course, Sumeria might be, well, he's just closer to you guys, right? He can feasibly kill you at all the 3 empires that you have, if he has anything, that is. So if you just want to eliminate the immediate threat, that might be Sumeria. But then again, maybe Anti is confident that he's been able to contain Sumeria to a point where Sumeria doesn't even have a critical mass that could overwhelm them at any of their defensive points here. That city with the walls, with a bunch of legionaries hanging around still. Don't think Sumeria's taken that anytime soon. So we'll have to look out for how they end up playing this one. I definitely want to see them keep pressing on that gas pedal, though. We still have a lot of turns left in this game. Remember, it's 72 turns, as you can see right there. 72 turns. We're on 45 right now, so that's 27 turns left. Lots can happen here. You'd want to make sure you get the maximum amount of points if you're Team Kismic Anti. Because, yeah, you want that #1 in score, of course, which looks pretty likely at this point. But then again, you also really want to make sure you get both of these kills before the game is over. So don't hang around for too long if you're Rome here. And that's maybe why the kill onto Sumeria straight away would have been great. Because if you now move all these legions down there to Persia, kill them, and walk back to Sumeria, you might not get there within the 26 turns that are now remaining. So in that regard, you might be able to argue for, well, trying to maximize the score and killing Sumeria first. It's really a game of tactics here, and maybe because it's the first game of the tournament, people haven't really, yeah, they don't have the experience, of course, with the scoring format yet. So we'll see if they come to regret this one, or if they're able to clean up both of these kills before the game concludes. They definitely want to make sure to walk away with the maximum here, and that would be 8 points, of course, for the overall tournament tally. 3 points for the 3 individual kills and 5 points for the #1 combined score that they would then have. We'll see, however, how that goes. Another consideration you could make, although that is very early in the tournament to talk about, whoever you eliminate first here if you get to pick, as is the case here, whoever you eliminate first, that team gets the last place in the scoring voting. So if you want to try to purposefully deny one of these teams' score, you should definitely kill them first, because that's 2 less score they get from the scoring rating there for the overall tourney. So that's a good idea as well, right? If you feel like Team Cheese is the dangerous one and Team Halu you don't rate as highly, then maybe taking out Cheese's teammate first would be the correct call, which would then be Battleship. But then on the other side, if you feel like Team Halu has the stronger players, maybe going for ByzFire first would be the strategically smarter decision, I should say. But again, it's too early in the tournament, I think, to start hypothesizing about these kinds of considerations. First and foremost, you want to maximize your own score, of course. So let's see how they're going to be accomplishing that one. I feel like just the Legion stack from Rome is too little to take out Battleship. His only issue is Battleship, that is. And he's pretty split. He's got 3 cities that he cannot all reinforce at the same time. If they spread him apart, he might have some issues there. And since the roads in between are quite long too, the MP could really be difficult to manage. So if a lot of MP start coming in from Antiquity, then the Roman Legion stack there might be able to do some serious damage against him. We can once more check in with what the army sizes say. Alright, that's a ridiculous mass of legions here. Kismic is loving this, and that's patented Kismic gameplay right here for you guys. Legion stacks, moving them across the map and try to clean up whatever stumbles across your way. Lots of lone Persian units there just trying to scout the map, maybe finally try to get his golden age, which he's been deprived of so unluckily, really. That's a rough one to handle. As we see people just still gearing up for attacks. No action just yet, as there goes the Roman stack. We'll see how they play it. We'll see where they go for it. That road, however, if you're not careful, could be used against you. I would have liked to see 1 or 2 units from Rome just guarding that road if you're not going to cut it, because that allows simple 1-move units such as those warriors here to double move into your land without you noticing. I think if you've got that plentiful amount of units, then maybe it would be a smart choice to actually keep some out and guard your roads as well. You want to maximize your points from this game, and you can't afford to die if you're in Rome here. You are the one that all the gold from your team was invested in. You gotta make sure that you get those kills and that you stay alive yourself until you get them, because otherwise Anti's not going to be able to take down a whole lot more of those enemies right now. He doesn't have the offensive firepower. Just take a look at this one, guys. He's really just trying to annoy people, just make it difficult for them to defend, while his teammate swoops in and does the carry job here. I'm just thinking about whether or not I should spew the NBA narratives, but what a selfless superstar Antiquity is right here, with the LeBron-esque decision making the right CIV3 play instead of trying to take the glory and the kills all for himself, setting up perfectly for his teammate and utilizing his strength to perfection here in this game. As still more cities, it looks like. Oh no, not a settler right there, just trying to finally take that golden age. But got bad news for you, that MP is definitely going to move out of harm's way before you're going to be able to get to it. It's just such a annoying matchup there for the Persians. And Persians, who I projected to be the #1 pick on these iron maps, who actually ended up going as the 5th pick only. Maybe they're gonna scare people away from picking them in the future, because this is not a great game for Persia right here, despite having such a nice land. But of course, the circumstances were far from ideal for him to succeed in this one, so I don't think you can just discard the CIV's power overall just based on this one game right here. However, people are sometimes quick to jump to conclusions, maybe regretting not picking Celts now, because you would be able to traverse the map much easier with that, but you never know, right? And maybe It's all just preference at the end of the day. The barbs now are starting to come in on that road, maybe starting to pillage or whatever. That would be funny too. But that's not going to be all that much trouble for Rome. That would probably be even a favor for him if the barbs ended up cutting it. We'll see. It's definitely Persia now, though. The strategy has been confirmed. No sentries out for Battleship as well, so he's not gonna know that this one is coming. And just the pure city spam from him is not gonna do him a favor once the Latin speakers start knocking on his doorstep here. Rome versus Persia. That's some ancient warfare for you guys right there. It's a struggle. I really like how Kismic has played that one, though. I would have still loved to see that horseman spam from the Golden Age. I feel like that could have been really good and allowed him to pressure bigger areas of the map more quickly. But still, with that amount of legionaries, definitely the right choice for him to invest in that. I didn't think they were going to be able to mass that amount of units. Incredible, really. And while Sumeria is just getting score off of culture buildings, doesn't look like Biz is going to be able to get, well, offensive action underway anytime soon. He's just occupied at home with everything he's got, and Anti just a few units, just a handful really, making sure that he can't move out there. Less than a dozen for sure, enough to contain Sumeria at home. No real offensive threat coming out of ByzFire for this game, but of course also not the greatest spot for him. We talked earlier about how Zulu and Sumeria neutralizing each other there a little bit, but then of course Zulu is the much preferable civ in that matchup because you're still able to impact the rest of the map with your much higher mobility as opposed to Sumeria, who's just been sitting at home for the entire game. Slowly but surely the Romans start making their way towards Persia. We'll see. Anti scouting for vision first. They're doing this really nicely. They're coordinating this one absolutely perfectly. We see the imps moving on in. They're gonna see that spearman guarding there, and then Kismic might alter his route into Bactra and not step into the immediate vision of the Persians down there. He's also now bringing a few Romans on over to Sumeria. Not sure exactly what he's looking to do with that, as Battleship actually cuts the road there. I wonder what the thought process is, but probably a good idea, right? Because if Battleship gets taken out, that road not being there will make it a little bit more difficult for the Romans to get over to the Sumerians in time. So that's definitely going to hurt them in the long run. And those three warriors, let's face it, probably not going to do a lot against Kismic's cities anyways. Still curious as to what he's doing with these folks over here. That's a lot of Roman, oh, well, there's lots of Romans in Teotihuacan, but he's not moving out with a lot of them. Don't want to get boated there for sure. We'll check in with ByzFire every once in a while as to whether or not he's making any galleys. Galley plays are really the only avenue I could feasibly see him go for kills at this stage. No galleys either for Persia. So he's also gonna struggle to make stuff happen on the offensive side. In come the Romans. This is just an attempt again to seize the Golden Age here. Maybe Anti should see this one coming, but he's now presented his impy, his regular impy, to the Persians, and they're immediately moving out to try and get that Golden Age of him, and that might give away Kismic's position if they're not careful. Anti's now moving away, it looks like. Maybe he's moving in closer too to get more vision. A move too south might not be terrible here. Could also move into the backside of Bactra and try to get on these roads. Two roads that he could threaten if he double moved through that forest here. Gotta be careful if you're Battleship. Lots of impy movement going on, but that's not the direction that Cheese ended up going, or sorry, Antiquity, of course. Finally, I spot the first burning cap there in Persepolis. Oh boy. At least I get to use my emotes, I'm happy about that. Sadly, the Sumeria Iron Denial one didn't come in all that handy today. Oh boy, now even Suede coming in to throw shade at Cheese for this one, but yeah, real unfortunate there. Issue with his settings, it seemed like. I hate to see it, really. It's a head scratcher there. I definitely ran into the same problems earlier this week when I had to play again, or last week, I guess, on the weekend, when I had to play with some settings that were changed because of my moderator duties. So that's definitely an unpleasant surprise. But that's how it sometimes goes. Kismic's gonna have to move to within the vision of the Persians here with this stack next, or end of this turn actually, if he wants to save himself some time. And he doesn't have a lot of time to waste if he wants to make kills happen here. So he's gonna have to move in, and he's woken up that stack already. He's gonna try and find an avenue to get onto Bactra, or another city, of course. There's still lots of potential ways they can find a way in onto Persia. I feel like blocking one of the northern roads is probably the easiest option, but I'm not sure they even have scouted the entire south already, so it could pay off to start looking down there as well. Just 16 immortals, it's not even going to be enough to take out this stack if you get the perfect rolls, so it's really difficult for Battleship to hold on to this one. I want to see Kismic try and go for this kill and waste as little time as possible. Let's see how they do it. He's still threatening all three of these cities. I wonder towards which one he's actually going to end up committing, as it looks like the Golden Age is going to be given over just barely, but he manages to get it. Oh, never mind. Excuse me. He already got it last turn, it looks like, over here in the west at the little pond. Looks like one MP died over there. So Golden Age finally for Battleship. That's massive, of course. But is it going to be enough to defend against that one? That's the real question. He's going to have to somehow find an answer to. He's done a good job of planting on hills. All these three cities are on hills, actually. That is really a defensive city planting. I criticized his hill plant at Pasargade earlier, but maybe it's just the right choice for these border cities, because they're really getting a lot of score and they're also good defensive positions. However, they're not easily reinforceable, at least not all at the same time. So if they somehow manage to split his attention, maybe make a move down here towards the lake, so Bactra and Sidon are both threatened, it's incredibly tough to reinforce between these two cities. I wonder how Battleship's going to respond to that. He really should have roaded that connection here and held on to that road, but he just doesn't have the units for that. So either way, that's not really feasible, I don't think. And Rome starts coming in onto Sumeria, and really not a lot of units, but maybe, again, just trying to force Sumer to stay at home. Another check maybe to see if anybody's got boats going on. Doesn't look like it. I don't see any for the time being anyways. Oh boy, more units being moved into the front cities for Battleship. But Kismic's just got that massive stack. We'll see where he ends up moving it though. It's well, not clear yet which city he's actually gonna start committing towards. Sidon now with the more walls up too. There's lots of defensive bonus. Deceptively much, really. People might not be aware of how difficult those hill cities are once they get walled, but alright, Kismic at least making it seem like he's committing towards the west. He still very much has the option to go south for Sidon, and that is the option, obvious option, right? Because the northern cities, despite being easily cut in terms of their roads, they are roaded better, whereas Sidon is really not that easy to reinforce for Battleship. Bactra still threatened in a major fashion. I definitely want to see some type of an attempt of a fake out here, a crossover or whatever you want to call it by Kismic. He's got the chance to maybe move south, move a couple more units towards Sidon, make Battleship shift his gravity over there, and then switch on over to Bactra. That is one of the many options he has of approaching this, but it's also important not to freak yourself out too much with how you play this. Really, Persia offering both sides to you right now. You gotta choose wisely how you distribute your units. Each unit you move cannot be undone here, and you want to save as much time as possible. 18 turns left to gobble up 2 kills here on the map. Maybe Persia gonna try and distract him a little bit at home too. That could also make Kismic's time tougher to find kills on the offensive, and he really doesn't have time to waste if he wants to get 2 kills out of this one. We'll see if he starts going for the attack next turn or how he does it. I can't imagine him hitting Bactra next turn already. Would be a huge surprise there. Gordium empty though. We have Anti moving in. That could be the kill already. Can Battleship react in time? It doesn't look like it. Is Anti gonna take it or not? He's not moving in so far. Alright, he's really playing this one slow, just as I had suggested earlier. And wow, that is interesting. He's just moving all his units over there to Gordium. I don't think this was the right play, if I'm honest. I think him taking the city is the good choice here, because then Kismic can immediately start moving over to ByzFire and work on that kill as well. I know the thought process is it's safer if Kismic is the one to take out Persia, but what is Sumeria gonna do? They don't even have any boats out yet, which of course you don't know, but you kind of do know, because you've got decent vision up north and you've got the Aztec city over there, so you pretty much know that there's no boats out. At least you can strongly suspect that. So Zulu taking Gordium out really would have been a good choice there from my point of view. Now they've taken the road, and that seals Battleship's fate, to be honest, in the long run. However, it's not the quickest way possible to go for that kill. And normally I say you don't want to rush it, but in this case you might just have to if you're Team Antiquity. Let's spy some of these cities, because there's no more stack attacking that's gonna go on this turn. Investigate city. Sidon first. Let's see what he's got in there. Just those 4 units, as you can see. Not a lot, but enough to defend against whatever Rome's got going down there. Let's check Bactra real quick as well before the turn ends. What do we have over there? Okay, that's a lot of immortals. That city might be able to hold against us just straight up assault. Wonder why he's still going towards the temple there, but to no one's surprise, Kismic's now transitioning over there to Gordium. Road being cut. That is awkward for Persia. Manages to hold on to that road, but that one really doesn't matter. Kismic, good choice there. Really, really good choice. I love the early move. There's no way Battleship can respond to this. And if you hadn't made that move, you would have given Battleship the choice to slam into that stack unfortified on the no defensive bonus terrain here. And that would have enabled Battleship to take a lot of these legions out with his immortals. So great move by Kismic. No defensive bombard in that stack either. So good choice to move that to safety on through the forest near Gordium, where you know there's not a lot of units in there. That's so funny that that's the second time this game where you see the enemy with an empty city and you don't take it as the Zulu. And the second time that the cleanup crew there is gonna come in at Kismic. And what I really want to see is I want to see him next turn start attacking into Gordium with single legions. Don't go for the stack attack onto the city. Instead, attack with the single units so that not all of your units end up moving into the city if you get the kill. Immortal stack coming out of Bactra now. He's trying to beat his way into the city of Gordium. And he as well with a... If he single file attacks into the Impy stack, he's going to be able to have the rest of his units move into Gordium with the Control U command. And it looks like he's done not that. That looks like a stack attack. In any case, he's now trying to get everything he can into the city of Gordium. Turn's about to end. How is Kismic going to play this? And instead it looks like he's going to have to go for the stack attack. Otherwise he allows so many additional units for Persia to move in there. And that is exactly what he's done. Still, good job by Battleship getting a lot of units in there, as many as possible really. So there's still a possibility he survives this one. It's not as cut and dry as it might appear at first glance. Kismic's attack has commands though, and he's taking out units. He doesn't have a lot of kills on the board just yet, but that's 3 immortals down already. We're down to the 2 HPs. It doesn't look like Battleship's gonna sustain this one, and there he goes. Good effort on his part. But that's kill number 3 in the game. 2 kills for Kismic, and he just continues the trend from the last tourney. It looks like he even followed my advice and went for single file attacks into Gordium, so that he's now able to stack move a lot of legions away from that city and save himself some crucial time as he closes in on Byzantine fire, which I expect him to do as soon as possible now. How are they going to be able to find that kill as well? They're going to have to try and maximize their score there. Of course, they're going to win first place in the scoring department in this one, but you want to maximize the kill score too. Good job there on that kill. Let's see if their choice pays off. Their choice of going for Battleship before ByzFire. You would have lost a lot more units there on the Sumerians, you have to imagine. So maybe it proves to be the correct call, but only if you're able to get on over there in time. It's now imperative for Biz to hold on to his roads if possible. And he doesn't have a lot of them. He only has single file roads with no backups connecting his cities so far, and I imagine as well he's paying a lot of unit support for all these units he's got hanging around. Oh, it's just tough for him. He's done a great job walling off enemy units from penetrating into his backline, but simply surviving isn't gonna cut it in this one. At least he's managed to secure second place in terms of score for Team Halu, meaning that it's still quite a lucrative game for them with 1 kill and 1 score, but yeah, that one is quite a roughie for Team Cheese especially. Oof, really not much more to say than that, as the pressure is now transitioning over the calm before the storm for ByzFire. He knows what's coming, of course. The enemy's gonna have to start looking for him, and they're gonna come on over there as quickly as possible. I wonder how much time is gonna be left by the time they arrive on his border. With that legion stack, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. He's not gonna be able to get it on over there in time unless he spams out workers and starts making a long road over there. That might actually be feasible there if you're Kismic. Just spam workers, do everything you can to connect a road from Rome to Samaria. That might actually make it so your legions arrive in time to attack there. I feel like that would be a worthwhile investment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. If you can buy yourselves 3 or 4 turns of time with a major roading effort, that might actually make the difference here. But still, they have to somehow try and look for that kill. You don't want to lose score that you feel like you have guaranteed in your pocket already, and that's definitely the case here. Despite Sumeria being such a proficient defensive civ, I feel like you have to try and go for the kill. And if you want to play it super safe, you do it on the last possible turn of the game. But hey, they know what they're doing here. ByzFire now yielding some tiles, cutting his losses where he has to. Wouldn't surprise me if he ended up moving all these units on over the river and get a better defensive position, but he's going to sacrifice a lot of production and food if he does that, so that's why he's not so far given up on the BG on that irrigated plains either. Well, how's that gonna go? I feel like at this point, if you're Rome, if you're not gonna get that legion stack over to Samaria in time, you might just as well leave it at Gordium 2 for the off chance that some boat has managed to sneak through, although that really I don't think can be the case there if you've paid attention on your borders. We'll see how they are how they're gonna be orchestrating that attack though. Maybe Zulu is gonna be able to pump a lot of archers and punch a heavy dent into the defenses here for Sumeria. There is quite a few archers already, 15. We'll track that number across the next few turns to see how that shifts. But ByzFire on the other hand, what does he have to defend with? Few swordsmen, lots of archers himself, and tons of Enkidu. It's gonna be a real tough kill to find here, especially if those 10 legions or whatever from Gordium aren't gonna make it. It's not gonna be easy to find that one Is he just attacking into this? Wow, that can't be worthwhile, right? Trading legionary HP for single Enkidu warriors? I'm not sure that is actually a good play, although he might be fishing for armies. It might sound ridiculous, but at this point, 12 turns left, there's enough time to get a great leader, walk the army back to Teotihuacan, load it up with legionaries. So maybe he's fishing for armies actually and trying to find weak Enkidus that he can attack into with his elite legions. Now that is an underused strategy. And we have the 1 HP impies. Maybe they're actually trying to... Alright, they're offering him the GG at this point, so they actually don't think there's a way they can get that kill. Alright, so they're calling it here. Just making sure that they're all fine in rejecting that slim chance of fishing for kills. They're just respecting each other way too much and think they even have a chance at killing there. But then that settles it for today. I wonder if Team Anti couldn't have squeezed out those that last kill as well for that one additional point. I feel like that definitely was a possibility there. But overall, we can't be unhappy with this one. We've found we found 3 kills there in that first game. That's awesome. You can see the leaderboard right there. 8 games still left to be played in this tournament. Team Antiquity taking the lead as we see. Yeah, I wonder. I wonder if they couldn't have gotten that. Anyways, 5 points for Team Antiquity for getting first place and 2 points for the 2 kills that they got. Team Halu, that is ByzFire-Zardoz, they got the second place in terms of scoring. So that's 3 points for them and 1 for the kill that Zardoz got onto Cheese. Huge kill there, and you can see it manifesting in the scoring board, on the scoreboard as well. And last place is Team Cheese right now, who very unfortunately ended up just losing Cheese so early on. 1 point for getting the last place in the scoring department, no kills, so they're gonna have to find a big comeback opportunity over the next few games. But still, that's only 11% of the tournament gone. Lots of time for people to catch up and turn things around. I'm interested in seeing where the strategy goes going forward. We saw just this one game with iron capitals for everybody. We're gonna see that again in game 4 and game 7. But the next 2 games are gonna be a horse capital game and a mixed capitals game respectively. So lots of different strategy that's gonna be on display over the next 2 days. So this tournament's gonna continue tomorrow. If you're watching this game live, it's gonna be pretty much exactly 20 hours from now. So that's gonna be 10 p.m. on Tuesday, Berlin time. If you live at the U.S. East Coast, New York City area time zone, then that's gonna be 4 p.m. on the Tuesday for you guys. So as I said, just about 20 hours from now if you're watching live. Don't miss out on that, as we're gonna see probably a whole new set of players playing on a whole different map with whole different resources. So it's gonna remain exciting, and we'll see whether or not Team Anti can hold on to that leading spot, or if Cheese can maybe start catching up tomorrow already with another chance. Until then, thanks everybody for joining. Game 1 of the tourney has been great, and I can't wait to continue it tomorrow.